Working nights at a rural gas station in Ohio wasn't supposed to be creepy. Boring. Sure. Lonely. Definitely. But terrifying. Not until my manager handed me a laminated sheet of rules. 10 of them. All phrased like warnings. I thought it was a joke, a way to haze a new guy. But after last night, I know they're real. This is the story of my first week at the Redfield fuel stop, and why I'm never, ever going back. Rule 1. If a customer walks in between 12 o'clock and 12:04 a.m., do not look at their feet. My first shift, the clock hits 12:02, and the door chimes. A tall man in a flannel jacket shuffles in. Something was wrong with the way he moved, like he was balancing on stilts, all jerky and unnatural. He smiled at me, a wide, stiff smile that didn't reach his eyes. I kept eye contact the whole time, my heart pounding, just remembering the rule. He bought a pack of gum, never blinked once, and 10 left. After he was gone, I risked a glance down. The floor tiles where he'd walked were crushed. Spiderweb cracks spreading from footprints, like something massive had stepped on them. Rule 2 warns. The red pump is for vehicles only. If someone asks to fill a container, stop them. A few nights later, an old farmer pulls up in a rusted truck, carrying a red plastic gas can. He gets out and starts toward the red pump. I yelled, "Sir, that pump's for vehicles only," but he didn't listen. Before I could even reach the emergency shutoff, the pump began making this screaming sound. It wasn't mechanical. It was like a boiling kettle in pain, a high-pitched shriek that made my teeth hurt. The gas can he was holding just sagged, then melted, and dissolved into nothing. A little puff of acrid smoke. The farmer went pale as a sheet, jumped back in his truck, and sped away without looking back. Rule 3. If the dog shows up, lock the doors. There's no real dog. Not one with a body. Anyway, sometimes a shadowy shape just wanders along the edge of the glass doors. It doesn't bark. It doesn't growl. It just stares inside, pacing back and forth. If you don't lock the doors in time, it tries to nudge them open. I've seen the scratches it leaves on the glass, deep gouges that never wash off, no matter how hard you scrub. Rule 4. Don't acknowledge anyone who asks for the old fuel. Around 1 a.m., this man in filthy overalls, caked in dirt, came in. He was whispering, "Got any of the old fuel?" I just ignored him, kept my head down, and started stocking chips. He leaned closer, right over the counter, and I could smell damp earth and something rotten. I said, "Do you keep the old fuel?" I kept stocking shelves, pretending not to hear, my hands shaking. His voice dropped to a hiss, like steam escaping a pipe. "Shame. We used to burn so bright." Then he was gone. He just vanished. Didn't even open the door on his way out. Rule 5. If the cornfield rustles during still air, turn off the lights. One night, the air was dead still. Not a breath of wind. But then I saw it. The cornfield across the road started to move, the stalks shifting in a wave, like something huge was moving through it. I remembered the rule and lunged for the main breaker, killing all the lights in the station. Plunged into darkness. All I could hear was my own breathing and that rustling getting closer, then fading away. I don't know what moves out there, but it either hates the dark, or it needs it. Neither option makes me feel any better. Rule 6. Never touch the back row of cans in the cooler. I was restocking sodas and accidentally bumped one of the cans in the very back row. It started vibrating violently in my hand, so cold it felt like it was burning my skin, and then I heard something inside it whisper. "Yes," whispered, a tiny, reedy voice, like a soul trapped in a bottle, pleading for something. I dropped the can and backed out of there. I avoided the cooler for the rest of the night. Rule 7. Check pump 6 at exactly 3:33 a.m. I set an alarm on my phone. When it went off, I went outside. Even when nobody's using it, pump 6 drips. A thick, black liquid that's not oil and it's not gas. It's something else entirely. It smells like burning teeth and hot metal. I just have to watch it drip for a minute. Then I can go back inside. I don't know where it comes from. I don't want to know where it leads. Rule 8. Do not speak to the woman in the restroom. Sometimes you can hear a humming coming from the women's restroom. It's always old hymns, but they're off-key and unsettling. Then a woman steps out. She looks normal at first. She asks if you've seen her husband. If you speak to her, if you answer, she follows you for the rest of your shift. The worst part, she doesn't have a face, just pale, smooth skin where her eyes and mouth should be. I always keep my distance and stay silent until she disappears. Rule 9. If the man in the CCTV waves, wave back. Most nights, the security camera feed just shows the empty aisles, but sometimes a man is just standing there in the frame. He doesn't move. He doesn't shop. He just waits. If he waves and he sometimes does must wave back. One night, he did it. A slow, deliberate wave. My blood ran cold, but I lifted my hand and waved back at the monitor. He immediately stepped out of the frame. A second later, I heard the break room door right behind me creak open. Nobody was there. Rule 10. If you see your coworker during a shift they're not scheduled for, leave. Last night, I broke this rule. As Oeveni works the morning shift in an aisle, lining up bags of chips. But his shift wasn't for another 4 hours. He didn't blink. When I called his name, he didn't respond. He just kept placing the bags, exactly 1 inch apart, perfectly aligned. Tennis spoke, but it wasn't his voice. It was deeper, hollow. You didn't follow Rule 10. His neck bent with a sick crack, twisting all the way around. Too far, too fast. His head was completely backward. I didn't wait. Primera. Ra. Ene. I scrambled into the walk-in freezer and slammed the door. I shut the lights off and held my breath, listening. Outside, I heard something dragging its feet. Slow. Heavy. Just like the customer from Rule 1. Then I heard knocking, but it wasn't on the freezer door. It was coming from inside. I don't know who or what is in here with me. But if this video somehow uploads, don't ever work the night shift. Let the Redfield field stop. And if you ever find a laminated list of rules, follow every single one. Thanks for watching.